I'll go to the next investigation. Now, in this one, basically saying that William Wallace is a fake. William Wallace is a total fraud of history. Obviously, the film Braveheart was based on this, right? And it's a fraudulence. First thing what you look at, right, is Skurdos, which is basically what Scotland's named after, right? Scotland means dark land. So Skurdos, darkness, right? Obscurity. Now this one's fake as well, William the Conqueror. It's basically give the idea of a conquered peoples already, right? Pre-conquered peoples, right? So say you had the British peoples had never been conquered, but what you're doing is giving them a historical idea and saying, well, you've already been conquered about 10, 12 or whatever times, and so it's like, it's no big deal to be conquered, taken over this time, because you've already been conquered over a dozen times or whatever, So they're putting in backstories. This one's fake as well. As you see, William the Con. And the queer, you've got the queer there. You've also got something else, right, with you put the Ur in there. And then you've got William the C-W-N, right? See us here born circa 1028, which is ridiculous time schedule in Falliers, Normandy, and basically means false. Right? So this is just a con. It's just a fraud, right? As you see, you're looking very Indian there type of thing. Right? And of course the time things as well. 135, 6 hex 1 with 7. Always the same thing. But when you go to WW, it becomes the 33. And you just revolve them, rotate them, and you've got the 33 for the Masonic. And the dates what they put in 1, 3 or 5. Again, that's 3 5s. For 15, which is 6, 1 for 7, or add the 1, 5, 6, you got 666. So they're always using the same number codes in these supposed past histories. Of course, with the Braveheart film, with Mel Gibson. He's got blue face paint on, because of course blue and white is what they call a St Andrew's flag, and it's associated with Scotland. Really. But the actual blue colour is basically coming from the ancient Egyptian mythology. And as we know, this stuff is another con, the Egypt con, right? And the E3, right? In Indian, it's basically the Indians again, right? At the con, right? So the blue face idea is coming from the ancient Egyptian, right? And of course that ties in with the Blue Lodge Freemasonry. And it represents the hidden aspects, because they're basically a lie in the con and they're deceiving, right? And obviously Blue Lodge Freemasonry. Symbolic lodge, something symbolic. It means it's like it's referencing deceiving. It's like taking a symbol means something that the average person who looks at the symbol doesn't understand what it means. Symbolic, metaphoric, and all that stuff. And Duval, of course, is a devil. Duval is the devil. Blue Lodge. The war idea is the divide between the ruined masons and the normal people, right? So it's like an invisible war what exists, right? And it's like invisible, but it's symbolic and metaphoric. Allegorical, as they say, right? But it exists as a war between the two types of people, right? Of course, that was the famous album by the Pink Floyd. They were basically a bunch of postulars, like, they're all from Eton School or something along those lines. So they were banging with like the war, the divide between the postular class, the Masonic class, right, and the just normal people. You see the Eton War game, right? Game originated and still played Eton College. Of course, all your BBC people, right, and the media people and news people are, Eton educated, right? So he played in Construct in 1770. Of course, is the founding of the Grand Lodge for organised Freemasonry. 1717, 2 17s of 34, which again become 3 and 4 for a 7. 24/6 and June 6, 6/6, 7. Always these numbers, like. Of course, they call these early Turians. When they went to early Turians. Basically, you see all your journalists, presenters, and all this went to Eton or one of the other privileged daily, what they call public schools, Of course, David Cameron, Boris Johnson, all went. So basically this one school rules the whole of Britain, and all the information the British people get through, mainstream media comes through these. And again, there's your William, so your Prince William right there is exactly in on the type of thing, Orwell, who obviously formed a template for them to do, what they're doing and that. So of course, when you talk about William Wallace, this also become William Wallace, William Wales, William Wallace. Now he's wearing a blue suit, of course. Setting significant changes to the monarchy, probably make it Islamic for a start, or whatever, Bringing all the Indian religions as well and all that. Of course, you're talking about a war, yes. So an yes has value of 1 or 11. Again, this is like the two pillars. So the war, the war, yes. It's the twin pillars. The divide between the two pillars. And Masonic pillars idea. Of course, in the game, blackjack. Blackjack, get closest to 21. So it's like Trump, it's like Donald Trump, the Trump card. They're calling him after just card game type of thing. Again, the realities of what happened in Scotland and England and all this. When all the Highland clearances thing, which was probably like a political and thing where they would have basically probably conned the people into selling their land, drove them out the land or something, right? And a lot of them people that lived up in Scotland came across the border into England and all that, right? Thus making different regions and all this. But they cleared them out. Basically that's supposed to be the English done that, but again you're talking about who was the actual the English, who they're claiming was the English, Again, we're not at these sort of royal rulers or not even European. You know, and that they weren't. See what I mean? They're pitting the people of the British Isles against each other with all this type of stuff. It's just basically contrived. It's storytelling, you know. Talking about the Battle of Stirling Bridge, you know, the pound sterling. You know. So it's definitely when they're using the war type of scenarios, it's masquerading the real weapon what they use, which is economics. You know. Economics is the real weapon of which how to clear lands and take lands over and, you know, stuff like that. The Battle of Falkirk. Kirk is the church, so basically this is like the battle of the false church. So this is like a religious battle or something, you know, as to who got to, you know, put their religion or start their churches up or something, you see what I mean? It's always masquerading with war and physical war ideas, or masquerading like basically business strategies and economic strategies and all that. Because that's the way they do it in reality. That's how you take people's lands out and stuff like that. You like use economics, deception, and all that. Con people. See what I mean? So you have these ones with the Picts. Right? That just looks to me Hinduistic. Yeah. It's like the Kali one chopping the heads off. Right? Curved swords and that, and it just totally looks Hinduistic, it really looks Indian. Picts, and they were supposed to be the early Scots. Right? So I think this is basically good, and then like some type of Indian foreigner invader that came, settled in there, you know, and remember they came when they came, right? Just like now, you know, Indians come over, they've got loads of money. They've got money, like pockets full of money, and they arrive in this country, right, from India, supposedly poor. And what's the first thing they do? Buy up businesses, buy up shops and businesses and premises and the most expensive houses. Yeah. You ever seen Indians with like a few BMWs and Mercedes they parked on our drive? See what I mean? This would have been the same back then. Indians, right, would have arrived in Scotland. Loads of jewels, diamonds, gold, whatever it was, right, and started buying people, you know, buying people's affections type of thing. You know, they would have been buying people up, and then they get them to work for them, and before long they take over the whole land, you know, the own land. See what I mean? Of course, it was never theirs to earn, you know, but if they can con people, and as you see, they originated from the TH race, you know, the TH Freemasonry. Painted people, you know, pictures, you know, Again, it's a bit like image of the beast type idea, you know. So much garbage put in with it. There you go. You know, this is very similar to the Picts idea. Basically that type of thing morphed into that type of thing. Of course you had the castle coming with Edinburgh Castle and all that in Scotland. All the castles started to emerge, which was obviously built by imported wealth. It's a mere stronghold in Scotland. Obviously King James VI accused of witchcraft and all that.